Hi, my name is Mika Alban Arn, and welcome back to my channel. We're coming live here from the Philippines, y'all, and I'm telling you, we're going to interview this beautiful sister who just sold everything, left everything, packed up everything, and came among and lived amongst these black people in the Philippines. Are we a cult? Well, hear from her. Are we just crazy? Hear from her. This interview is going to be very, 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 very interesting. So you don't want to miss it. So tune in. Let's do this. Let's go. We're going in. Let's get it done. Hi, I'm Mika Alban Osharal, and welcome back to my channel. All right, so this is part 2 of our interview with Abea. How do you say your middle name?
I don't use it too often,
so it's Abea Yao, right?
Yeah.
Abea Yao. We're going to write the middle name right in there. All right? This is fun. All right, so we talked about, in the first interview, you spoke on your reason for moving to the Philippines. So let's get into that. How and why did you move to the Philippines?
Well, I mean, I was still in a Christian church, going to church, and it really started for me of searching is when I really started to read the book myself. So like when I first started, I was reading what they call the New Testament. Which I know now is just garbage anyways, because Paul was a liar. You know, he written 75% of the New Testament, and even the people that knew him had a problem with his writings and his lies. So that would make him a liar. But anyways, so when I actually started reading things for myself and started thinking, and started going to the church I was going to and asking questions of just certain things. I couldn't get no answers. I couldn't get no answers about anything from anyone that I was searching for. And I didn't know how to find it or even what exactly I was looking for. I just knew I was looking
for something.
Because, I was like, is his name really God? What is his name? If I have a name, I'm surely he has a name and God is not his name.
Right.
So, and I just started praying and I would ask him, is your name God? What is your name? And is there actually somebody that they say is your son that really died for the sins of the world? And I prayed so many times, probably about a month or two before anything really started happening. And I guess he wanted to see where my heart was with searching to knowing who he was and his name. So one day I was on Facebook scrolling just random people, and I just 7 or 8 different times the same verse by people I didn't even know was addressed to me. Come out of her, my people. And I was like, wait a minute. This means something. This is too many times by too many people that I don't know doing the same verse out of nowhere. It wasn't even talking about anything to do with religion or anything holy or just anything. It was the same verse, 7 or 8 times. So like I went to my Bible and I looked and I read it and I was like, this has to mean something because this is not a coincidence, right? So then I prayed about it and I said, what are you trying to tell me? I want to know, what are you trying to tell me? Is this from you or because I don't think this is just random, And I still didn't hear anything or anything. I'm just sitting there pondering, what does this even mean? So I thought it just meant, come out of the church. Come out amongst of all them people that are going to the churches. Come out of, religion in general, And like, the first person I had talked to was Yadur. And he was living in California, and at the time I was living in Monroe, Virginia. And we started talking on Facebook. And he's like, I'm not a Christian. And I'm like, well, what do you believe in, And he was like, well, just so you know, Christianity is just full of blah, 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 and things. And there's no right-hand man sitting there next to God that's sharing his glory with him. And I was like, wait, what, wait a minute.
Blasphemy!
Yeah. When I learned this, I was so distraught. I didn't know who to pray to, what to say, what to think, or even to imagine to even think of. Only thing I knew within me is I didn't want to do something that I was going to regret, that was going to offend the Creator. That's all that I knew, even though I didn't know what direction to go in at all. Because it took about 3 months or so before I started, well, actually 4 months, before I actually started realizing, going from Christianity and then calling on Yahuwah and things like that, that was going the wrong direction. Even though after, Adur had told me, first he said, oh no, it's Yahuwah. This, the next day he goes, no, it's Yah-oh. And I was like, wait a minute, but you just told me this and now you're telling me this. Now I'm even more confused. And in my mind I'm thinking, well, if he's going to say this and he's going to say, how do I know he's even telling me the truth?
All right now.
So I'm like, I don't know what to think, what to do or nothing. So I stopped praying. I stopped everything because I was just so confused. I guess I just needed time to absorb what I had just realized, that there's no man that died for the world's sins. That really threw me, because I'm like, and I don't know why it threw me the way it did, because I had a feeling that the laws were not done away with. Something in me just knew that they weren't, but I didn't know how to prove anything.
So where did you go from there? You say you stopped praying.
I stopped praying. I stopped going to church. I stopped doing just everything that I was doing. It was just at a standstill for a while, and then I still ended up calling on Yahuwah's name. And so when it came down to me really thinking about it, and I guess maybe it was Yah-oh that put it in my mind too, that, okay, so if Christianity is this, and the New Testament is not real, that is just made up by some man named Paul that didn't even know what the hell he was doing, but lying, then why are you changing the names and keeping the same doctrine? And then when it dawned on me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm right. That's exactly what I've been doing. There's no difference, just different names, So, and then all of a sudden I had this dream. Yah-oh's name, everything was black, everything was black, and it's like little bitty old me with these giant letters way up here. I had the dream twice where Yah-oh's name was right there in front of me. And it, no words, no music, no nothing, just big old name, Yah-oh.
Wow.
And it happened twice, and I'm like, is that really your name? But I didn't get no response. So I'm just like, well, do I wait for a response, or do I just, I didn't know what to do.
So you saw Yah-oh in English written in the sky?
Yeah. No, it was just a pitch dark room or blackness.
Okay.
And his name was just bigger than me. And I'm just looking up like this, and it says Yah-oh. And I dreamed it twice. And I'm like, why am I dreaming of names all of a sudden? Okay, Yah-oh, Adur said Yah-oh, but at the time his name was Gilbert. You know, so I'm like, okay, what is really going on here? I know it means something, but okay, what am I not connecting here? You know, I'm not connecting some stuff or something because my mind's just everywhere at once too. So like, next thing you know, I started dreaming. I had a dream the same way with Yahweh's name that said Day of Atonement. And I'm looking and I'm like, Day of Atonement? Wait, this don't even make any sense. So I dreamed it. I went to my book, my Bible. I looked it up, read it, everything. And I'm like, what does this even mean? I even looked up videos on YouTube thinking it was going to shed some light on something, you know, because that's what I dreamed. And it still didn't make any sense to me. Well, next thing I know, I had started talking the same day I started calling on Yahweh was the day of his atonement. And the first person I talked to was Dodi Yahweh.
Wow.
And I was just like, it wasn't until after I had spoken to her that everything came together and clicked in my head. I was like, Yahweh was basically telling me, you're going to be calling on my name for Day of Atonement.
Wow.
And I just didn't know it. I'm just like, whoa, that makes so much sense. It's so simple, but so confusing at the same time. It's like, wow.
So now you call on this name, and how did you get up? How did you get with the Ravenous Bird? How did that lead you to the Philippines?
Well, who was it? I was talking to Shemshon's wife, our priest, Shemshon's wife. How do you say her name? Yeah. I was talking to her. She was the second person I had talked to that was in the nation. And at the time, I believe her and him, he was a Nashe of, how do you say it? Loam. And this is before he found out that he was a priest. And so they were going to put me in there to dwell in Loam, but they said there was some people, Mashpaka, that wasn't comfortable with that because they're like, no, that's only for, you know, the pure bloodline. And I get that. I didn't want to offend anyone. So
I know you're curious as to what she's talking about when she said bloodline. Well, for you to get real good information on that, you got to go to the Ravenous Bird YouTube page. Ravenous Bird, and look up Brought by Ships. Because I can explain it to you, but why should I explain it to you when you could actually watch it and get the full understanding for yourself? Yeah, you got to do some research. Check it out, Ravenous Bird, Brought by Ships.
Offend anyone. So then I ended up, they sent me a thing. It says, read over this, pick you a tribe to be in. So I'm looking at it. Well, nobody told me it's not, even though I'm a Gar, you know, and not of the bloodline, whatever's in there doesn't, you know, for me to choose because, you know, I'm not of the bloodline. So therefore, since I'm a Gar, I can pick any tribe I want to dwell in. Well, they didn't tell me this. So I'm looking at it in physical labor, work with hands, this and I said, oh, stubborn as a mule, that's me right there. You know, I said, that fits me perfectly.
So what tribe was that?
Yashakar.
Yashakar.
So I'm in the tribe of Yashakar.
The tribe of Yashakar.
Han.
Man wa man.
So,
Yeah. For those who are watching, I'm the priest that dwells among Yashakar. I do dwell among Yaoda as well. So I dwell in two tribes: Yaoda, aka Judah; Yashakar, aka Issachar. All right. So good. So now you have a tribe, and you learning the name Yahweh. What make you make that decision to leave America, your land where you were brought up? A white woman, not of the bloodline as you come to understand, but now you're going to come to the Philippines and live around these black people who calls themselves Yaosher, and which people are thinking they must be like the Hebrew Israelites or they're a cult. And what was your mindset?
Well, at first I didn't hear the word, well, that's a cult, you know. When I did hear it, I just looked down like, you don't know nothing. So what you're saying doesn't even, it's hearsay. I don't care, you know. But I was watching Leave by the Wings of Ravenous Bird from YouTube. And if you haven't seen him, check him out because he has a lot of good educational and knowledge on there in his videos. So I'm sitting here watching it. The guy I was married to was sitting over off the couch. I was in front of the TV, and I went to stand up, and all of a sudden the ruach hit me, and it explained to me and showed me what the verse "come out of her, my people," meaning you need to leave from where you are, come up out of there and go to where I want you to go to.
So not come out of the church and live somewhere
to
else.
come out of the land of that cursed land of America.
Countryside.
Yeah, move to the countryside.
To come out,
live off the land and live.
Yes.
No, leave. Come out of her.
Get
leave
out of
the
her.
country.
Leave her. Yes. And I'm hearing it and I'm seeing it with my own two eyes. All at once, it was like a double whammy. And I'm just like, and I've had visions, you know, before of seeing things before they had happened, you know. So when this hit me, it didn't scare me because I've had something similar of thoughts and things that happened to me many times before, you know. But you can't do nothing when the ruach has got you in its grasp.
Oh yeah.
You can't think about nothing else. You can't see nothing else. You don't even worry about nothing else except for because it has your full attention. And that's all you can do is focus and listen, because that's all you're supposed to do, and that's exactly what I had to do.
So you listened and you decided, all right, you're going to leave your family. Were you married at the time? Were you children?
I was married. My children were already grown. My family, blood family, they live in Lubbock, Texas. I had moved away from them probably about 10 or so years prior because of just a bunch of other family drama type stuff. I had to just get away. Start over fresh and new, just different things. And so after I came out of the ruach, when he let go of me, get out of that. Your car. That's when I turned around and I said, I'm out of here. I said, I am out of here. And my ex is like, what are you talking about? And I was married to this man at this time. And I said, I give myself 6 months and I am gone. I said, either you can go with me or you can stay. I really don't care. But either way, I'm still going regardless of what you or anybody else says.
Wow.
This is what I'm doing. I said, do you remember when we first moved in here and many times you try to tell me, well, we need to move. I don't like the atmosphere here no more, this, that, and the other. And I said, what did I tell you? I said, we are not moving until he says it's time to go, because I know he's the one that placed me where I lived for many different reasons, a lot of trauma there. And I said, but now he has spoken to me. It's time to go. Are you on your medication?
Wow.
I think you need to go back and be put into the hospital again. I said, go right ahead, because you can't prove that I'm not of sound mind. I said, I've been in and out of there long enough. I know what the heck I'm talking about.
Wow.
And so first thing I did was I was like, okay, my rent's coming up for my lot payment, even though I owned the house, was paid off and everything, but I still had to make the payment for the land that the house was on. So I asked y'all, I said, what do I do? I said, because I'm on a fixed income. In time I even pay the bills and things, I don't really have money for anything, because I already knew I'm going to have to save up, and I knew that I gave myself 6 months to get the hell out of there. So I asked y'all, I said, do I just not pay? Do I just not pay and save the money and just stay here as long as I can until they're saying, well, you're getting evicted, go to court, this, and this. So that's exactly what I did.
Did what you got to do.
I quit paying all of the bills except for the electric, and that's only because I had government grant that paid that.
Okay.
Because Virginia is a Commonwealth state.
Yes.
So for people who are low income or disability, how elderly and things, they have programs that are not, you can't get in other states, because it's Commonwealth. So all that was still getting paid, and at the same time, I still had a lawsuit going on with the owner of the park over about my rent going up for the lot fee. Plus, I was trying to get the title to my house. So I told y'all, I said, even if I get the title to the house or not, I don't care. I'm still going. That was just a bonus if I could sell the place before I leave. I said, but either way, I'm going to be okay because you got me. I'm not scared. Because so many are like, are you scared to leave, to go where you know nobody? I said, who says I don't know anybody where I'm going? I said, you think I'm just going to be there alone? Why do I need to be scared to fly across the world to go where the Creator is sending me?
Wow.
If I trust in Him that much, what is there to be scared of? Because He has me. There's nothing to be afraid of.
So what was that like for you? Now that you're not scared, you're on this mission, you decide you're going to go, you're at this place now, you got onto the plane, you came over here, you recognize you're going to live around all these black people. Because in the Commonwealth of Virginia, there's not many of us black people.
There's not a lot, yeah. There are some, but they're mostly like in Richmond, Virginia, and stuff like that. I lived like in Minner, Virginia, which is about an hour from Richmond.
There.
Yeah.
No black.
Mineral.
Until today, I never heard of Mineral, Virginia.
Yeah. And there were no blacks in that area.
I didn't even know it existed either, but...
Yeah. And there's no blacks in that area, and it's very racist in that area as well.
It can be, yeah. So I don't like that crap, you know.
So what was that like now to leave? Here you are, clearly a white woman. We're looking at a white woman here. And you're now coming... You're hearing Yahweh's voice, and you're now leaving your world of familiarity to come to a foreign land to live under the care and leadership of black folks. What was that like for you?
When I first got here, I didn't know what the heck to expect. I was just like, I will deal with that when I get to that bridge.
That is crazy.
Because I knew if He's calling me and telling me to leave, to come here, then He's going to be there for the next part of it as well. He's not just going to leave me hanging. He's not going to leave me standing still going, okay, you're here, see you later. Right. That just wouldn't make any sense.
So what is that like now? So you're here, you're accepted. What is that like? What is that like for a white woman from Mineral, Virginia to hear the name Yahweh and come over here? Because the first person you spoke to wasn't a white person. Actually, Adair Yahweh, you said, right?
Yeah,
he's not white. He's what? What is he? Puerto Rican? What is Adair Yahweh?
Adair, I think he's Hispanic.
Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
And then you spoke to a white woman.
Yeah.
Another white woman, and now you're in the company of blacks, and of course you were.
Who's not white woman? Lebanon is not white.
No, not Lebanon.
No, she's Puerto Rican, I believe.
Yeah, not Lebanon. She spoke to Doda.
Doda Yahweh.
So now, because you didn't just hear the name Yahweh and just decide to come. When did you got to the place of the ravenous bird? How did you come to know the ravenous bird?
I've been actually, how would they say, not terrified, but I get very quiet, and sometimes I feel like I want to hide because, like, at first when people meet me, it doesn't always come out the way that I think it would because I get shy. Unless it's something I'm comfortable with talking about, But then still, you're going to have others still look at you and be like...
So here's my question.
I've never gotten that from you.
Yeah, I never got that from you either.
No.
Yeah, I can't see shyness in you. But how did you come across the ravenous bird? How did you hear the name Yahweh? Well, you heard from Adair, Yahweh.
Yeah.
First he said Yahuwah, and then he changed to Yahweh. So, and then you're trying to figure out, is this guy even real? And then you spoke to Lebanon, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
And then after Lebanon, you spoke to Doda.
Yeah.
How did you get to how did you get to the name? How did you get the confirmation of the name from the Ravenous Bird? How did you get connected with the Ravenous Bird? Through via Facebook, YouTube?
I started going to the Zoom
The
classes
Zoom
for Shabbat.
classes. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Because I didn't even have Wi-Fi or nothing because it's so expensive to even get Wi-Fi where I was living at. So I was having to use phone data. And sometimes I couldn't even stay for the whole classes because I just didn't have the
And
the
those classes
data
used to
for
be
it.
long.
Yeah.
Back in the days.
Sometimes they still are sometimes.
Yeah. So now you know the Ravenous Bird. You heard the class. You understand. You've gone through the training. You've gone through the teachings. You're aware of some of the scriptures that was misplaced, and you're seeing things together, and you decide to come. So now you're here, and now you're living amongst us. Do you remember your first, after the airport greeting, after the fanfare is gone, and now the reality you got to get into? How did you live on your own? Did you live with someone? How did
I had my own place.
Oh, you had your own place.
Before I came, I had it set up where I had paid a deposit down on the small condominium that I had rented before I came, so that way when I come from the airport, I can just go straight there and then finish paying out the rent and the other deposit, because because here you pay 2 deposits and the rent.
Right.
So, but I paid a down payment so that way I'd have somewhere to go to when I got here.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to take a chance and have to go to Airbnb because I didn't know how long it would take me to find a place. And 2, that stuff can get pricey. And I'm like, I don't want to short myself. And then I'd be like, well, I can't do it now. I don't have any money. I got to wait till the following month, things like that. So
now you got into your place, you're good. And now the first gathering. You remember the first gathering?
The first gathering was the reading of Pesach, I believe.
Okay.
You had a question, anything?
Did you come alone?
No, I came with the man that I was married to.
Oh, he actually decided to come.
He did come, even though he didn't call on Yahweh, he wasn't a part of the nation. He didn't pray to anyone,
And he did, right.
But there was some issues there that I thought would work themselves out, because I asked Yahweh, I said, maybe if he comes, or if you allow him to come with me. If not, that's okay too. I'm not scared to come by myself. I'll do it alone if I have to. But he allowed him to come because I said, well, maybe if he got around Mashpaka, and maybe if he could see some of the things that I've been trying to explain to him, and he sees it for himself, maybe something would click and he would change his ways. I wanted to try to give him that chance because I had known him since he was 21 years old. I was 26. I'm fixing to be 52 now. So off and on for 23 years we were together. That's a long time.
Yeah, man.
But we were only married for like 2 years before we came. So I thought, maybe it would change him. But after I got here, he just really went downhill real fast. And he had done some stuff to another brother of ours. And then he tried to pull some stuff on me. And then next thing you know, they wanted him off the island. So the owner that I was renting from, she had the guards gather my stuff up with me and move me to another place where he didn't know where I was at. The next morning, she went and told him, you have till tomorrow to be gone. So he had to reach out to this, what do you call it? I can't even think of the name of it, where you go through
the embassy.
The embassy.
Okay.
And they had to get a hold of his uncle that's left living in Texas, and he paid for him to get back.
Okay.
So that just told me he wasn't meant to be here.
So now
gave him a chance, but he already knew what the outcome was going to be. I think he did it because I asked him to.
Right. So now you're here alone with these people that call upon the name Yahweh. What is that like being a white person amongst black? Because we talked about the bloodline. And you're not a part of the bloodline. What is that? What does that mean? And what is that like for you being in this?
I love it. I love being here. I love being amongst my people. I have never felt more safer in my life.
Wow.
And I've even had family tell me, well, you're just part of a damn cult. And I'm like, well, if I am, it's the best damn one I've ever been a part of. Because if it's a cult, why do we all have our own housing to live where we want to?
Come on now.
We're not forced to live there and have, like a cult would be.
Right.
They're not saying, here, drink this Kool-Aid. They're coming for us. The UFOs, they're going to take us to this land. I mean, come on. And it's really true. If people will really look at that, it's white men who had the cults in America that was causing all this kind of conflict. I don't think there's never been a black man that had a cult.
Not in the U.S.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense because I've never heard of it as long as I've been alive, but I've heard of David Koresh and, just different things of what all they were doing, and there's other cults that they had too, where then people drink the Kool-Aid and they found them in the beds, dead because they were like, oh, the UFOs are going to come, the mothership is coming. And I mean, come on. I'm sure there's probably something like that out there because we don't know what all the Creator made before he made man.
Right.
You know what I mean? But still, this is the best damn cult I've ever been a part of. I love my people.
Oh, man.
I love my people.
That's amazing. That's amazing. This is very important for people to hear because sometimes I post some things on my page and people think I'm racist, or they might think, oh, why are you bringing up the past, or why you don't let bygones be
because
bygones.
The past is history. It doesn't just go away.
Thank you. It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
The truth is being
It needs to be talked about. It needs to be seen. It needs to be brought up because how else are people going to want to change unless they see the true history of things?
Man. And that's the goal of this interview, is like to let people know, hey, listen, this is the real deal. We're not Hebrew Israelites. We're
At this point in the interview, my batteries to the mic ran out. And she was just so emotional at this point about her walk with Yahweh, the decisions that she made, the people she's around. I was in tears. In the words of the prophet Yeshayahu, Isaiah 56, thus saith Yahweh, keep judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the son of man that lay hold on it, that keepeth the Shabbat from polluting it, and keepeth his hands from doing evil. Neither let the son of a stranger that has joined herself to Yahweh, speaking, say, Yahweh has utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. And jumping down to 6, the stranger, also the son of a stranger that joined themselves to Yahweh, to serve him and to love the name of Yahweh, to be his servant, everyone that keepeth his Shabbat from polluting it, and take hold of my covenant, even them will I bring to my house, my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offering, their sacrifice shall be accepted upon mine altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. Shalom.
It's time to go to the groomers. It kind of smells.
So, you guys heard it. And you met our wonderful sister. You know we're the same age? Did you know?
I did not know that.
When is your birthday?
August 7th.
Okay, I'm older than you.
I gotta respect my elders.
I'll be 52.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
in 8 days.
In 8 days.
8 days.
Oh,
8 days.
how exciting. Another year of life. What a blessing.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. There you have it. Now you understand. And now you can hear it from the perspective of a person who don't look like me, who don't speak like me, who don't act like me. but understands like me, who understands, okay, there's one God, and this one God made all people. From one human he makes all people. And I think we have to put that back in its proper perspective, and until we understand that it has to be put back in its proper perspective, we're going to serve false gods, false idols, worshiping false ways, false religion, and we're never going to enter the kingdom, the true kingdom. And the true kingdom is putting it back into its right, proper perspective. The name we worship, the God we worship is Yahweh. Mashamo.
Yahweh!
Shalom.